Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Nero.
And,
Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride,
Knockout
everyone. Daddy Big Bussy just landed.
We are getting both the introduction of Knockout and Breakdown and the Arachnid episode in June.
Yeah, I mean, gay rights.
So...
It turns out that the requirement to being the Decepticon is not being evil, but being gay.
Yes. That, that makes me wonder some things about Soundwave, but he's a very private fellow.
Or, I mean, a member of the LGBT community. Soundwave's obviously ace.
That's true. So, yeah, this week, we have some new Decepticon characters who survive their first episodes. What a concept. A new guy who doesn't die immediately.
Yeah, we have finally broken our streak of recording episodes of named characters dying every episode we record.
Not even that many Viacons die in these episodes. Only one of them. Only one of them gets the suck from our old pal Starscream there.
Oh yeah.
So, pretty good week to be a Viacon, all things considered. Because there are good weeks and there are very bad weeks to be a Viacon.
Yeah. And the Indiana Jones week is a bad one.
Yes.
Yeah, the first episode we have tonight is episode 10, which is Deus Ex Machina.
Yes. So we start off and immediately, all caps, first note, they put people in this classroom. We start with Miko in detention. Now, to be fair, one of the people is a model we've already seen. She's Sierra's friend, and the other person is covered up with a newspaper. But we're finally getting human characters who show up and do stuff now.
We get a bunch
Yes.
in both of these episodes.
That's right. So, but Miko's intention, she didn't finish her history project, which is about Greece, I think. Otherwise, Bulkhead makes some weird assumptions. Pretty sure it's about Greece.
Yeah, it might be about, like, general ancient civilizations, and, like...
She chose Greece,
but, yeah. Yeah, so she ditches her detention, and Bulkhead's like, Miko, no, stop. You're going to ruin your education. And he's like, don't you want to get to Kalegi? Don't you want to go to University? And I love this concept that because higher education exists on Cybertron.
Yes.
So this is not a human concept. Bulkhead just doesn't know what college is.
Well, later he says he was a construction worker before the war, so I guess he never went to Kalegi.
But he doesn't even know what it is, which I think is hilarious.
I choose to believe Wheeljack also does not know what college is. Just no idea.
He does, but only military academy.
That's right. That's what he thinks college is. Yeah, college is where you gotta get yell at a bunch and get a nice uniform.
Yeah, he goes to West Point.
Yeah, I like this angle of Bulkhead, like, shifting into dad mode here. Where he's like, okay, so your parents are far away in Japan. Your host parents are too intimidated by your tood to get you to do anything. I've got to be the one to gently guide you towards a better future. And Miko just is not having it.
Yeah, she's uninterested. She's like, don't care about my better future, want a better present. Let's bail.
So yeah, they bail out of detention. And right when they get back to base here, Ratchet has picked up an Energon pulse in some ancient Greek ruins. How about that?
The way this delivered is like, this information is delivered. It's like, yes, we have found this. And Optimus is explaining it, and he's like, in a nation called, and then pauses for a dramatic effect, Greece.
And Bulkhead's like, ooh, field trip time. Come on, Miko, let's go.
I just love the idea of Greece being this exotic.
Yeah. Greece.
Greece.
In a land called Ohio.
Anyway, have y'all played Assassin's Creed?
I've played a little bit of it.
Because this is the literal plot of Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yes.
That's the literal apple. So
it's even more literal than you know. Do you know about the deep lore in the Covenant of Primus about the Greek gods? We'll get there.
Oh yeah, weren't they the original primes?
They are literally the primes.
Yeah, they're the original primes. Yeah,
they are the primes OCs, and they were having fun little games on Earth.
Yeah. So this is literally the plot of the Assassin's Creed games, or at least the first three, which are the ones I played. And so it's literally the apple from there's like a statue that has this gold orb, like literally the apple of Eden.
Now, before we get to all of this ancient alien stuff, we have to we cut up to the Nemesis. Because Starscream has called in an expert to help with Megatron's recovery. And we have talked about him quite a lot, I feel. He's come up a fair amount here on this show. Because Knockout
is here, he's queer, and he's not medically licensed.
And immediately, Starscream is homophobic, which I think is very funny. So
It's
walks
MLM
in.
Hostility.
Yes, Knockout walks in and Starscream goes, "Oh right, I forgot. You're one of those," referring to a Decepticon that turns into a car instead of a plane.
Yeah.
Microaggression immediately upon walking in the door. So Knockout now, okay, you need to. If you aren't watching the show for whatever reason, you should definitely be watching this one. You should at least go to YouTube right now and just look up Knockout. Like, look up this first scene. Because the voice, Darren Norris, who is, of course, most well known to our generation probably for playing Timmy's dad on Fairly Odd Parents, the voice he has going here for Knockout is quite something.
I mean, it's camp.
It is the campiest thing you ever heard.
That is like and Starscream and Knockout are so funny together because they're like two sides of the camp spectrum, and they hate each other so much.
They despise each other. Like they immediately, like, Knockout walks in the door and immediately they're just being catty to each other. While I presume what is happening in the corner is that Soundwave is watching all this and then just sort of projects a photo of that dog onto his fucking screen face.
No, actually, I actually don't think they hate each other. I think that they actually have some real genuine fondness for each other,
yes.
Which is the only reason Knockout gets to get away with some of the shit he gets away with, and the only reason why he doesn't also mutiny against Starscream at any point.
They like the drama.
Yeah, I think, yeah, they're heckling Muppets from a balcony together.
So Knockout is technically the Decepticon medical officer. He is a little bit less good at it than Ratchet, but he can get the job done.
That's not fair. So, he describes it very well. He's very good at what he does. It's just that what he does happens to be more disassembling people than putting them back together.
Oh, he's the Decepticon torture officer. That's why he's got that drill in his hand.
No, literally. So literally, that's what he shows off when he says this. So he walks into the room and he's like, "Yeah, okay, where's Lord Megatron?" And Starscream shows him Lord Megatron, and Knockout just looks at the huge hole in his chest and looks at Starscream and is like, "I think he's dead." and Starscream's like, "He's not, but we do be wishing." And Knockout just looks at Starscream and says, like, with all due response, so his name for Starscream is Herr Commandant, which is very funny. But so he goes, "Listen, Herr Commandant," and Starscream's like, "It's Lord," and he's like, as long as Megatron still has a spark pulse. Is it, though? But he's like, I don't know what you want me to do. And Starscream's like, you're a medic, do your job. And he pulls out his drill and starts rolling it. He's like, I have, like, a pretty good command over anatomy, but my skills are much more used in taking people apart than putting them together.
Yeah. And he mentions, all of this, later he mentions, all of this would be much easier with my partner here, which...
No, his lab assistant, if his assistant was here, which is, he's like, yeah, if my husband were here,
what?
Maybe I'd be able to get something done.
Which really makes me wonder, like, is Breakdown secretly a medical genius?
Yeah, he's like a Spinister.
It's like I was about to say, it's like Spinister, the world's dumbest man who is a savant at neurosurgery.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Spinister.
Scavengers are so fucking good.
So we cut over to the ancient Greek thing, the Greek ruins here, where Bulkhead's like, all right, I am going to go look for this energon vein that Ratchet mentioned. You, Miko, are going to study. And she's like, man, I hate this. And he quickly puts together, like, okay, well, obviously what happened here, this is an archaeological dig, and humans stumbled upon some energon. They probably don't even know what it is. But then he sees a picture on a wall.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot that this was where we first see the apple.
Yeah. So
My bad.
There's a Greek god with a big orb, and Bulkhead's immediately like, hey, that orb looks fucking Cybertronian. What's going on there?
With the Apple of Eden copyright Ubisoft 2004 TM.
Yeah. So this is when we cut up to the Nemesis again, where Knockout's like, I sure do, this will all be a lot easier with my lab assistant here. And Starscream's like, yeah, where the fuck is Breakdown anyway? I thought you guys were, like, joined at the hip. And Knockout's like, oh, he went to investigate some energon signals over in Greece. Cut over to Greece. Breakdown is here. Breakdown, let's see, who is he voiced by? I believe it is a Baldwin of some variety. Adam Baldwin, who is the one who is not related to any of the Baldwin brothers. That's right.
So not a Baldwin, really,
no,
of any variety.
Baldwin in name only, but he is like, he was Cobb in Firefly, that beloved nerd property whose name will never be tarnished. And he's just like, he's like an action guy. And he does an alright job here. Is like, Breakdown is sort of like an alpha goon. He's big, he's kind of dumb, but he's really good at punching.
He is, I think he is smarter than a lot of characters in his sort of archetype tend to be. He is not just, he's not brainless. He's not maybe as clever and certainly not as manipulative as many other characters in the show, particularly the Decepticons, but he's not actually stupid. That's a power of gay love. Now, I want to point out something very, we've made a lot of comments already about Knockout and Breakdown's relationship. Obviously, nothing is made explicitly clear in Transformers Prime, which was, targeting children and tweens in 2010. But following their appearance in Prime, Knockout and Breakdown appear in the IDW comics, IDW1 comics, where they are explicitly married. So that was all born from this. Like, their IDW, their IDW1 counterparts are exactly who they are in Prime. So.
Yep. And he shows up, he trades some banter with Bulkhead. They have a history. They're like rivals or whatever. And he kicks Bulkhead's ass. Like, just wipes the floor with him, including throwing him through that fresco with the weird orb on it. And shortly after doing that, he leaves. And Bulkhead's like, well, shit. We needed that to get some clues. And Miko's like, don't worry, I got a picture of it.
We can ponder or back at the base.
And Optimus ponders the orb and says, yep, that's an energon harvester, all right. We need to get that.
I forget. So they develop a plan, and Ratchet is running support on some of it. I forget what the context is, but he's so they find it. I think he's like locating where this thing is based on the description.
Yeah, so what it is they basically like Google this fresco. They find a statue depicting the same thing, complete with the orb. It is in a museum somewhere. So they call Agent
Well, before
Fowler.
that, I just want to. So Ratchet has this great line as they're googling stuff, which is, "I hate talking to machines."
Yes, because he's trying to call Fowler because they're like, well, obviously we can just call Fowler and have him take out of the
that's
museum.
right. That's right. That's what it is. Yeah, it's
And
the voicemail.
Fowler is on a intensive training retreat, quote unquote. So he is unavailable. And there's a whole thing where Optimus explains like the ancients often left artifacts behind on worlds that they seeded Energon with. So they would use the artwork of the time to leave clues for future Cybertronians, and that's why that fresco depicts the orb in it. Basic Transformers Ancient Alien stuff. The Covenant of Primus, which was the lore book to go along with the aligned continuity, expanded this to being like the 13 original primes were literally on Earth, and the Greek gods were their hollow matter avatars. So like each of the Olympians corresponded to a different prime.
It's normal.
It's very normal. So they decide, well, Fowler is unavailable. We gotta do a heist. We gotta use the children to steal an artifact.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Miko's like, we can go, and Jack's like, maybe we can't actually. And Optimus is like, no, we're too big. You guys have to go.
Yeah, it's really funny. He's like, no, you do have to do a crime.
Yeah.
Regrettably. Unfortunately, at the same time, Soundwave was also Googling the statue. So the Decepticons also know where it is. It's really funny. We just cut up to the Nemesis with Soundwave displaying a picture of the statue on his face. And Breakdown's like, yep, that's the one. That's it right there. That's the guy I saw on that picture.
That's the orb that cursed my dick.
So it's time for a heist. It's the middle of the night. The Autobots are setting up a perimeter around this museum. You got Bulkhead, RC, Bumblebee, and Optimus at each entrance. We got Ratchet back at the base, and the plan is they're going to ground bridge the kids directly into the museum on one of those like lift trucks to just grab the orb and get out, and then we replace it with like a fake orb, which would be going faster if Bulkhead had not smashed from the Ratchet.
Yeah, this is where we head into the Indiana Jones portion of the evening.
Yes, and everything seems to be going fine. We got the kids are in there. Miko sets up she takes a picture of the statue on her cell phone and slips the cell phone over the security camera. That classic thing that definitely I don't think it works. And you know, they're in there. They're gonna get the orb, and then a cool car pulls up right next to Optimus.
And flirts with him.
Yes.
Cannot overemphasize the fact that Knockout sees Optimus, and his first instinct is to basically go, "What's cooking, good looking?"
So he says he gives him a whistle. He goes, "Heavy duty, nice rims." So we immediately know Knockout's type is trucks, because Breakdown is a big truck too.
I think his type is big.
His type is big. So, but you know, we can't stay here flirting forever. We got to do some fighting. And he so Knockout's weapon of choice is a shock staff that he jams into Optimus's neck here to knock him out with, giving Breakdown a clear runway to run right into the museum.
I love that they gave the most gay-coded character in the show a rod as his weapon. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, he knocks Optimus out. My God.
Yeah, no, Knockout does not fuck around. He is a very competent fighter, all things considered. And so is Breakdown. Luckily, all the other Autobots start swarming in and try to hold them off. So they, the kids have the orb. They're getting ready to extract as the Autobots and Decepticons are rumbling out in the parking lot. But then, so I think someone smashes a window or something, and all of the alarms start going off. So we shit's going bad. Oh, I think I remember what it is. I believe I think it's Optimus like anti-air's knockout. Like he gives him a good whap out of the air, and he just goes flying into the window or something.
Yes, yeah.
So we gotta get out of here quick, and I love this. So the kids are trying to extract. They see a metal door, sort of one of the like a garage door, kind of propped open, and Jack sees some shapely blue legs, and he thinks, RC. She's over there. And so he brings the orb up to the door, and then who opens the door?
Soundwave.
It's Soundwave. Those weren't RC's legs at all. So he just takes the orb and leaves. He just leaves. Like,
if it sucks, hit the bricks.
Yeah. The Soundwave's fucking smart. He's like, I'm not gonna fuck around with I'm not gonna like menace the humans or take any pot shots. I have the thing I want. I'm gonna leave. And he does. And then also Miko then gets arrested because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
They're the security guard who was like manning the cameras comes out. All of the Autobots and Decepticons have left, and it's just Miko alone in the hallway. And so she gets taken into museum security custody.
Yeah, Bulkhead, as they all sort of like recover, Bulkhead's like, we gotta go after her. And Optimus thinks about it for a minute, and he's like, no, we don't actually.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Miko's fine.
Because Bulkhead's like, we gotta free her, and he's like, Bulkhead, calm down. She's just in like rent-a-cop jail.
Yeah, he's like, she might be in the safest possible place for Miko Nakamura right now.
They're gonna give her a bottled water. Like, chill, Bulkhead, it's fine. And we kind of see Miko getting interrogated by this guy who's like, why were you here so late? Her story is that like, oh, well, I was here after closing. I was studying for a project, and I got locked in. You gotta believe me. And so he goes, yeah, why don't you tell me all about your project?
She's like, double fuck.
Yeah, so we leave that for a while. And Optimus is like, okay, so obviously we need to get the Energon Harvester back, but I want everyone to be warned, because here's the thing about the Energon Harvester. It was created to, extract hard-to-reach Energon deposits. However,
it does extract Energon, as the name suggests.
If you point it at a living Cybertronian, as Starscream will so helpfully demonstrate on a poor Viacon over here very shortly, it will kill you. It will suck all of your soul right out. It will remove the blood from your body.
It drinks your milkshake. It drinks it up.
Yes, and this is where Ratchet is trying to work on getting a replica to put back in the museum. But Bulkhead smashed his tools, and he needed that. We know the deal by now. So we and where else would I love this, because they're thinking about where Starscream could have gone with his new toy, and Bulkhead realizes, I know Starscream. He hates doing things that are difficult, so he would probably just go to the last place we detected the big Energon vein, which are those Greek ruins. I'ma head out there real quick.
Yeah.
He is right. He has the correct read on Starscream.
Yeah. So Bulkhead attempts to sneak in. However, Bulkhead's stealth stat is at -2.
Yeah, he's a big boy. And of course, Knockout and Breakdown are also there. And immediately Starscream's like, all right, get his ass. He beats them pretty handily though. Bulkhead does manage to like deal with the ambiguously gay duo here. Then Starscream opens up the orb though and starts giving Bulkhead's blood the suck here. However,
He's a big boy. There's
He's
a
got
lot
of blood in there.
Me patting the top of this car. This bad boy can hold so much blood.
He is having a hard time getting all the blood out of Bulkhead's body. And so Bulkhead manages to get up and stagger forward. He grabs the Energon Harvester, crushes it, gives Starscream just a big old punch to the face, and tosses the Harvester up in the air so it can explode safely.
He has a great, really raw line as he does all this. So he starts walking towards Starscream, and Starscream's like, wait, what the fuck are you doing? And as he grabs the Harvester, he goes, what I do best, wrecking stuff.
That's right, because earlier he's talking to Miko and is like, look, Miko, I was a construction worker before I was a wrecker. I'm only good at building stuff or breaking stuff. I'm not like a thinker. I'm not like any of that. But you have a brighter future ahead of you. But it turns out he's really good at breaking stuff. And guess what? Starscream puts in another tactical retreat. As it's his signature move. Shit sucks at the bricks. And this is when we cut back to the museum where Miko has just finished basically giving her report to this random security guard, and she is talking about the Deus Ex Machina in the classical Greek context, the actual prop stuff they would use, and the literary device of the Deus Ex Machina in classical Greek plays. And this guy goes, yeah, whatever. You still stole the orb. But then Fowler comes in. It's like, actually, we found the orb. It's right there. She's coming with me. Have a good day.
And the FBI will kill you if you speak of this to anyone.
Here is $100,000. Never say anything to anyone ever again.
Oh, you think he gave money? I don't think so. I think he just gave threats.
Yeah, probably. That's Deus Ex Machina, and it's a normal gotta find this powerful relic plot, but Knockout and Breakdown are here, and don't you worry, they continue to be here next episode, which is Speed Metal.
God,
not a good title, I must say.
Yeah, we're back in the Fast and Furious universe. Again.
Yes, in particular, we are right in Fast and Furious 1 here.
Yeah.
This very squarely.
Last episode was the plot of Assassin's Creed. This is just the Fast and the Furious.
Ah, jeez, RC, I got involved in the race wars. So, we start the episode. So Knockout, we learn he has a hobby, and it is doing human street racing.
This is okay. I can't remember the actual context of it, but so yeah, he's doing street racing with these guys. I can't remember what they actually say, but it's all this stuff that's the car equivalent of calling someone a pretty boy as an insult.
Yeah, this guy goes, European make. It's real pretty.
Yeah, and it's this man is gay. You're just complimenting him.
Yeah.
Now you're gay. You're a gay clanker now.
You want to fuck that car. But no, this big burly man, who I believe is voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, he's literally even in Vin Diesel's car from the Fast and Furious one. He's in the big Charger, basically, with the huge engine. But he reaches over to he keys Knockout with the big skull ring on his finger.
Oh, this is important. Okay, one thing that no. Is that the end of last episode or this episode where Starscream scratches his paint?
That's this episode.
Okay, never mind.
Because he gets fed up with Knockout's fucking behavior.
That's right.
So yeah, this guy keys Knockout, and Knockout's like, "Oh, that's it. You're fucking dead. You're fucking dead, kiddo." And he runs this guy off the road in the race.
Yeah, you could have just kept calling me pretty, but no.
Don't worry. We see him much like most of the mech soldiers from Convoy, except for the ones that had an encounter with RC. He is alive after rolling his car down a cliff somehow.
Except not really. He's dead. And
totally dead.
the
if it was RC, those guys would be dead. He would be dead.
The line that Knockout gives here is ridiculous, because he says, "You scratch my paint, I'll scratch yours." And it's like, humans don't have paint, my dude.
He doesn't know that.
Oh, I think he does.
Uh,
I think he is aware of that, actually. I think that's why he tried to kill a man.
Yeah, like, this is the equivalent of, like, if someone, like, nicked you on the arm and you, like, beat their face in with a crowbar.
All I can think about is that super broken Tickle Me Elmo just going, skin again.
Skin. So, we get the intro and we cut to Jack and RC. They're leaving school, and like we got some. He's talking to. Is he talking to Vince or he's talking to Sierra? Who is he talking to? I think he's talking to Vince.
I think he's talking. I think Vince approaches him. So we get this new character, Vince.
I think we heard him in the first episode because he like was shitty to Jack at the drive-thru.
Yes, this is probably the guy who was shitty to Jack at the drive-thru. We get to see his face now. This 16-year-old also does street racing, and he pulls up. He sees Jack with RC, and he pulls up, and he's like, "Nice bike you have there. Does it? Do you do Segway tours on it or whatever?" Like, basically just like shitting over RC and Sierra and her friend again, whose name I can't remember.
I don't think she's ever actually named.
She's
the blonde one.
Yeah. Are over here, and they all start talking about RC basically, and how decent RC is as a vehicle.
Yeah, because like what happens is like, so first we get Vince who's like, "Oh, it's a shitty bike," and Jack's like, "Actually, this bike's fucking cool and fast, and like can kick your ass anytime." And we get RC going like. She says a lady's vital stats are her own business. Right?
Yeah, he gave her Graverve measurements out.
Yes.
He said she was 36, 26, 42. Like, come on.
Don't share my RPMs with anyone else, Jack. It's very uncouth. This is when Sierra pops up because, you know, back in episode 1 or 2, Jack was like, "I'll give you a ride sometime." And she's like, "Hey, still offering that ride?" And Jack's like, "Yeah," and RC says no and drives away. She's like, "I'm not your wingman, Jack. I'm not going to give free rides to whatever girl you're crushing on. I'm sorry. I've got business to attend to."
Yeah, and that business is driving back to base.
This is when Vince pops back up in his fucking cool flaming muscle car.
God, he's so cool.
He's like if Ron Stoppable was a Chad. That's what he looks like.
Woman want him, fish fear him.
And he's like, "Hey, you want to race, Jack? If you bike so fucking fast, I bet you could beat me." And Jack is considering it, but RC once again pulls away like, "No, we're not fucking with that. That's stupid."
However, RC is not immune to propaganda.
No, because like she's talking to Jack like, "Hey, listen, like, you're not supposed to. Optimus talked to you about this. You're not supposed to use your connection with the Autobots for like personal gain. You're not supposed to use our power to flex on other people. That's dumb as shit." And then Vince's like, "Your bike's fucking ugly." He's like, "Actually, I want to kill him." "Never mind. Let's bend the rules just this once, Jack. I'm gonna smoke his ass."
Yeah. I especially love the way that this is, the dialogue is set up here, because I don't know if it was on purpose, but I kind of hope it was. Because as RC peels around, what Jack says is, "Well, what about the rules?" And RC responds, and I can't remember this exactly, but basically how she responds is "get bent."
It's like they'll
right,
get bent,
which is like
once.
right. That's what she meant, but it's also just her saying "get bent."
Yes. And the reason, like, because Sierra and her friend are there, and, you know, Vince is obviously this fucking gay lord with his stupid little bike. I got a cool car. So, yeah, Jack accepts the challenge, and they're gonna race on a dirt road out by Trucker's Ranch. And when they get there, RC has an amazing line.
Oh my god!
She doesn't start out at full speed. Jack's like, "Hey, what are you doing? We want to win, right?" And she goes, "Winning isn't enough, Jack. You want to make him cry." She's a fucking sicko, and it's great. She's like, I will ruin this man's life. This is the RC that blowed up those fucking mech guys a couple episodes ago.
This is the RC that blowed up her relationship with a mean lesbian.
Yep. So we cut after absolutely smoking Vince in this fucking race. We cut up to the Nemesis, where Breakdown is just buffing, just has a floor buffer and is running it across Megatron's half dead, corpse.
He's helping.
He's out and Stark's like, well, it's such a shame that we won't be able to do much for his health, but at least it'll look real nice for the funeral. Then Knockout walks in, and Surgeon's like, you fucking piece of shit. Are you racing again? Were you out doing that dumb fucking car shit again? And Knockout says, I'm not only an automobile, I'm an automobile enthusiast. Yes, we know. We heard how you talked to Optimus in the last episode. So yeah, Knockout has a little hobby that he keeps sneaking off duty to do, and he's like complaining about how this fucking guy, some skin job scratched my pain. He calls humans skin jobs.
Yeah, new slur just dropped.
New fucking slur. We got, the Predator handshake. We got the droid from Knights of the Old Republic, meat bags, and he got skin jobs. So I love this.
Skin jobs sound worse.
Skin job sounds way worse.
Maybe it's because it's the combination of skin and job that makes me think of skin tag. But it's like, it's not great.
Yeah, there's something like annoying that you just want to pick off. Yes. Ugh. So, but he's complaining about this thing, and Starsman's like, okay, well, if you don't race, maybe you won't get your paint scratched. Hint, hint. Stop racing. Get to work. And it's funny, Breakdown goes to start buffing Megatron again, and Naga just holds up his arm and goes, buff this.
I love the, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I was, a linguistics minor in college. So, the entire language that has been created in, the Transformers fandom across, actual canon and fanon is, deeply, deeply fascinating to me. I love the linguistic landscape, specifically of Prime, which I think has one of the more interesting ones.
Yeah.
It's like Prime and G1. G1 has a lot of interesting phrases.
You hear a lot about fucking beryllium baloney and whatever the fuck else. Boy, howdy. There's a lot of that G1. I feel like Prime is a little bit more realistic slang. Because it's a lot of curse words as well. Yeah.
But that's just how people talked in the 80s.
Yeah, they all sounded like Ironhide. So we cut down to the auto base, and RC's like, okay, Jack, that was fun, but it was only once, and most importantly, we cannot tell Dad. I mean Prime. We can't tell Prime. He is their dad. Woogie. But of course, as soon as they get in, all of the Raph and Miko are like, hey, I heard you did a cool race and you kicked that shithead Vince's ass. And Jack's like, okay, well, wait, where did you hear that? And Miko's like, it's all over school. Everyone's talking about it. It's all anyone's talking about at all.
Whoops. Failed step one.
Yeah, so, but he's like, all right, well, it's fine. I'm not going to race again. Next day at school, Vince shows up and is like, hey, asshole, hey, Darby, that other race didn't count. You want to be a real cool guy? Meet me at the circuit tonight. We're doing some illegal street racing. And RC is like, we're not doing that. Then Sierra's like, I think it'd be pretty cool if you did that, Jack. And Jack's like, you're right. I accept your challenge, Vince. And RC's like, well, no, you didn't. I'm not doing it. I said only once.
The best part about this, so they go back to base, and Jack is trying to convince, the entire time he's like, but RC, I'll be so hot.
She's like, I don't care.
RC's like, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
And they're arguing the whole time, and eventually, once they're back at the base, Jack's like, all right, I understand you hate me and you don't want me to ever have a romantic relationship. I get it. And RC's like, okay. And,
Whatever.
and so he, like, goes over to Raph and he's like, hey, Raph. And Raph's like, hi, Jack. And Jack's like, so what do you say you let me borrow Bumblebee for a moment? And Raph's like, didn't we acknowledge already that street racing is against the rules? Because Raph is, again, far and away the smartest of the group. He knows what's up.
Yes.
And it's literally like that moment from Over the Garden Wall where it's like, I'm not street racing Bumblebee. He's a talking car. He can make his own decisions. And it's like, Bumblebee, what do you want to do? I want a street race.
Yep. So Bumblebee says yes, as interpreted through Raph. And this is very funny because, of course, Raph understands Bumblebee perfectly. Jack, no idea what he's saying. Not a clue. Which becomes problematic later on. So they're at the circuit, and he pulls up next to Vince like, oh yeah, my bike's in the shop, so I got my cool car instead.
This is so funny. And, like, Vince doesn't bat an eye at this, but the idea that this kid who works at, like, the Shake Shack, has not only a, like, incredibly sweet motorcycle, but also this, like, unreal muscle car.
Yeah,
and that's just, like, accepted. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's like, how does that make sense to any... Like, why don't any of you question this?
Vince is just very stupid. I think Vince just doesn't question things when it comes to cars. Like, yeah, it's really funny that everyone's like, oh yeah, he has a super bike and a muscle car. Yeah, that makes sense to me. But of course, there's a special surprise guest for this race. Knockout is here. And he immediately recognizes Bumblebee, and Bumblebee immediately recognizes him. And so they like... And there's a
skin job. There's a skin job in the middle of them.
Yep. And Vince doesn't know what's going on at all. So, alright. We gotta talk about Knockout's fucking Mario Kart tricks here. Actually, both of them. Alright, so... Knockout has guns that come out to shoot Bumblebee. That's fine. That's normal. Bumblebee deploys an oil slick.
Yeah.
We're in fucking wacky races now.
So, like... What bodily fluid do you think oil slick is analogous?
Okay, well, from the Bay movies, we know that lubricant is piss. Do we ever learn what oil is?
Yeah, in fanon, coolant are tears. Coolant is tears. Trans fluid is cum. Is it just diarrhea?
Is
it just diarrhea?
Is Bumblebee taking a massive wet shit on the road?
Listeners, I hope you're enjoying this top quality content from Nero.
If that's the case, Knockout should be freaking out way more. He should be like, "Oh,
yeah, this is gross as hell,
bro. What the fuck? Oh no, that's the only thing it could be.
It's just a big wet shit."
Oh,
folks, we've been Prime Cuts. You can follow us on Twitter.
Somehow we still have episodes left after. So Bumblebee takes a big wet shot on the road and spins Knockout out. He hides under a bridge to like, you know, escape from. He does the fucking Watch Dogs thing where you lay low in the car and pretend like you're not in it. And it works. Knockout leaves. But then Vince rolls up and starts hooting and hollering at Jack about like, oh, you fucking cheated. You didn't actually want to race me. You fucking ran off the road with that other guy. You better race me right here and now. And Jack's like, can you please stop talking? Can you please go away? Please.
I'm on my knees begging you to stop.
And then Knockout comes back hearing, oh, there's some guy talking to the robot. Presumably this is Bumblebee's human friend. Yoink. So he kidnaps him he knocks him out with like a zap to the eyeballs. I don't know why he has this
he has a little
capability.
like mini taser for ants.
Yeah. So
Or humans, which are the equivalent of ants for Transformers.
now we have to ask. So Knockout specifically has things in his driver's seat to restrain and knock out humans. He is an anatomy specialist. Is he dissecting people?
No, the restraints are unfortunately just part of his BDSM stuff.
Okay, he had them installed. Yeah, all right. It just happens to be in useful handy here. I also imagine that's what the taser is for.
Yeah, listen.
Makes sense. I mean, he has the electric rod.
Listen!
He does have the electric rod.
Breakdown is heavily armored.
That's true. He can take a lot of
He
punishment.
can take a lot of punishment.
So, like, Bumblebee beeps and boops at Jack, who's like, I don't know what that means, but I hope it doesn't mean you're about to call home, because I don't want to get in trouble with that. I mean, Optimus. And this is where the funniest thing in the episode happens. So Miko and Raph are gaming, and Optimus walks up and is like, "Hey, has anybody seen Bumblebee? What's going on? Where's Jack?" And they're like,
And Optimus, in his very Optimus way, looks specifically at Raph, knowing that Miko is not responsible enough to give an honor, and looks right at Raph, and he goes, "Raphael, would you happen to know where Jack is?" And Miko's like, "I swear to God, Raph, don't you dare narc."
Yeah. Well, actually, it's even funnier because they actually Bumblebee does call back to base, and he calls RC and Bulkhead to go help them out. And so that's when Optimus walks, he's like, "Hey, where is everybody?
Where's my entire army?"
Yeah. And it's really funny because once they get there, Jack explains what happened, and he's like, "All right, so Knockout took Vince. He probably mistook him for Bumblebee's human friend." And Bulkhead's like, "What a shame."
Yeah, again, just like he was with like Fowler. In the first episodes, he's like, "Yeah, oh well."
And Jack's like, "Bro, what?"
Yeah, and
Bulkhead's like, well,
Bulkhead's
he's like a jerk.
Yeah, Bulkhead's like, "What do you mean, bro? What? You're the one who said he's an asshole."
And Jack's like, "Yeah, but I don't think that means he gets to be tortured. I don't think that means he should be tortured to death by Decepticons." And Bulkhead's like, "Oh, fine, whatever." Miko wouldn't want me to rescue this guy.
Oh my god.
And RC is mostly just in "I told you so" much. He's like, "Yeah, I told you this would fucking happen."
One time only. What part of one time only didn't you get?
Yes, this is when Optimus walks out and Raph tries a very bad lie. I don't even remember what he lies about, but our Optimus just like arches a single eyebrow and goes,
Yeah, I can't remember what Raph says either.
So, Knockout has led the bots to an abandoned parking lot and, springs the ambush there. Breakdown is, of course, he's there.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever Knockout is, it's almost certain the Breakdown is also there.
They were literally making out while they waited.
Oh shit, they're coming. So Bulkhead and B fight Breakdown for a little bit, while RC pursues Knockout, and it looks like he's just going a little too fast for her. He's still got Vince.
I just want to say, so as RC takes off after Knockout, Jack watches them go, and he has this very sweet line and goes, "That's my girl."
Knockout calls her a two-wheeler. Another new slur just dropped.
Wow, this like hierarchy of slurs, like, man.
I'm pretty sure Hotshot also called Sideways a two-wheeler in Armada. Or no, it was the other way around. Sideways called Hotshot a four-wheeler.
I was about to say, Sideways deserves to have a hate crime done to him. So I wouldn't even have complained about it, but
I know every slur, Hotshot. Unicron told me all of them. So, but it looks like Knockout's about to lose her. He's just too fast. But then, what's that? Honk honk. It's Optimus. He's pulling up alongside. It's so funny. Like
He
runs Mike. He runs Knockout off the fucking.
He literally,
road.
it's one and done. He just like pulls up and then knocks into Knockout, and Knockout is gone.
He is hanging over the edge of a cliff, and RC's like, "Hey, watch out, Optimus! There's a guy in there." And he's like, "All right, noted."
Wait! Before he does that, like Knockout is obviously stunned because he's not like transforming out of it or moving at all.
No, yeah, he got fucking smashed.
Yeah, so yeah, Optimus goes over and RC warns him about this guy. He's like, noted, and then rips Knockout's arm off.
Yeah, he just fucking tears his door off, and Knockout's like, ah, no. Do you know how hard that is to replace? And he just reaches in, grabs Vince, and just tosses Knockout to the side like a fucking broken Hot Wheel.
This is actually the point where Knockout transforms, and it's not his full arm, but his arms have the doors on them, so you can see that. Yeah. And he's like holding it, and that's the point where he looks at Optimus, and he's like, do you have any idea how hard it is to replace that?
But he realizes he's outnumbered. Shit sucks. Hit the bricks. He and Breakdown leave.
Oh, actually, that reminds me of... Sorry, there's a line in the last episode at around the same point where, towards the end, after Starscream hits the bricks that I forgot to mention, which is Breakdown and Knockout share a look, and Breakdown goes, fight, and Knockout goes, drive.
Yep. And they drive away, and they do the much the same here. Jack returns Vince to his car and is like, "Oh man, you got jumped under that bridge by some guys. It was crazy. Brought you back here." It seems at first like, oh, maybe they're having a bro moment. Well, maybe Vince might soften his ways.
Is this before or after they return to Optimus?
I
think this is after. Yeah. So I just want to say one thing really quickly before he sort of restores Vince to his car is Jack looks at Optimus and goes, "Optimus, I'm so sorry. This was all my fault." And Optimus just looks at me and goes, "You and everyone else can explain back at the base." And it's like a very Richard Dawkins shirt, "We are all disappoint dad" moment.
Yeah. He is really maximum dad in this episode. But Vince obviously has learned nothing. He's still an asshole. So that's that. We cut up to the Nemesis, where Knockout is complaining once again, and Circum's like, "You know what? I am fucking tired of you running off and doing your dumb racing bullshit. So you know what? You think that damage Prime did to you is bad? You think that little nick there, that's bad? Well, come here. I'm gonna mess your paint up real fucking good." And we just like zoom in on Breakdown's face as we just hear Starscream like raking his claws across Knockout's
the best part,
skin.
You missed the best part of it, which is as he goes in and like Knockout's backing away. He's like, no, please, not the finish. Starscream says, "I assure you, the damage will only be cosmetic."
And then we zoom in on Breakdown going like, making like, ooh, ah, ooh faces. As we just hear Knockout screaming. So that's how Knockout's day is going. Cut back to school with Jack and RC. Anyways, he's apologizing to RC or whatever, and Sierra pops back and was like, "Hey, still want that ride?" And Jack thinking, oh well, RC's not gonna go for it, whatever. She's like, maybe another time. But then RC's like, well, just this once.
Yeah. And that's episode.
Not the best Transformers wingman. That probably goes to Bay vs. Bumblebee. If we're really tallying things up.
It's Swerve.
That's true.
Swerve,
however,
Swerve through alcohol or other means got more couples together in any universe than I think anyone else.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. No, you're right. It's Swerve.
Yeah.
That'll final guy. What accent do you imagine Swerve to have?
Oh, absolutely, like Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito from Always Sunny.
I mean, just in general, Danny DeVito is my headcanon voice for Swerve.
I also like a thick Cockney accent for Swerve. I think that's very funny.
Cockney? Oh my god, I can't even imagine it. No, it is absolutely like
Danny DeVito. Swerve, welcome to Swerve.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's Danny DeVito for me.
Now I want Swerve and Bluestreak to have an adventure involving a rum ham. So, we've got questions here on Discord. That's right. You can join our Discord on the link underneath the description. In our bio, there's a link. You can click it and be transported to a world of wonder.
And gay robots.
And gay robots. So, first off, Slipstream Sam asks, all right, what's the gayest street race car?
I mean, I did answer this in the Discord, and it's not a street race car, but I do want to give a shout out to the Very Gay Raptor.
I think it's the Nissan Skyline.
Well, just if anyone hasn't heard of the Very Gay Raptor,
let me look this up.
It came out last year. So Ford, I think it is Ford that does the Raptor, right?
Oh.
1 second, sorry.
Yes, it is Ford.
Yeah.
It is indeed Ford. Holy shit.
Yeah, so Ford came out in 2021 with a new Raptor, and they had a comment on their video, and this happened to be in June of 2021, and they had a comment on their release commercial or whatever for it, where it was like a steel gray blue, right? Like that sort of like gunmetal blue gray color. And the comment on the video is like, cool car, but that blue is kind of gay. That blue is very gay. And there was like, well, it's Pride Month, so let's make you want a very gay Raptor, we'll give you a very gay Raptor. And what they did was they took a Raptor, they painted it gold, gold glitter, and then they put a rainbow on the side of it, and they like marched it in pride parades. And it's actually a pretty cool, like, on one hand, I'm like Silence brand, but also like this is the funniest response to like having your car be called very gay by someone by a rando on YouTube.
It's got a heart on the back there, on the back bed door that has the pride flag streaming out of it. That is a pretty gay Raptor.
Yeah. So anyway, it drove in pride parades. It's not a street racing car, but I do want to give a shout out to the Very Gay Raptor.
Yeah. I'm still sticking with the Nissan Skyline.
I don't know cars. Let me text Max real quick. See what he says.
Yeah, can we get his opinion on the gayest street racing car?
Can I phone a friend?
Yes, please phone a friend. As we move on here to the next question while we await the car expert's answer.
I'm not actually going to do that.
If you were to find yourself behind the wheel of a homosexual automobile, who would you prefer it to be? Not Knockout. That guy's got some weird shit in there.
Ratchet.
Would he be comfortable? He's an ambulance.
I mean, if nothing else, you could lay fully down on a gurney.
True. Bulkhead, probably. I'm large. I require large automobiles.
Well, yeah, he's
Bulkhead
gay.
Seems pretty comfy.
Yeah, I was just trying to think how gay he was.
Just remember his interactions with Wheeljack.
No, that's why I changed. That's why I was like, yeah, no, he is.
They're all gay. And then also she asks, pitch me an OC that is a Greek hero who is also a Transformer.
Bruticus.
Oh my god, like a gladiator team?
His name is literally Bruticus!
His name is fucking Bruticus.
I mean, I guess that's Roman, but...
Yeah, but also he has alternate name. There are several incarnations called Bruticus Maximus. But yeah, gladiators are like a Roman thing. They didn't so much do it in the Greeks. They liked like chariot racing. Big into that, I think. Shit. I mean, I think to me the classic ancient Greek vehicle is like the trireme, right? Oh shit! It's the fucking Argo.
It's a catapult.
Make the Argo a Transformer.
It's a catapult.
What's the catapult's name?
Catapult.
Fling Rock.
Fling Rock!
Sounds like one of those things that Fowler came up with in Convoy. Skynut, Wingding, Fling Rock.
Meteora.
Oh, there you go. I guess this is related. Casey Cosplayer asks, what alt modes of the Transformers used in Grecian times? I already suggested trireme and...
There's a lot of olive oil presses.
Man. Yeah, old oily over there. He can never quite get the smell out. You know?
No, it's good for the joints.
Yeah.
Keeps them well lubricated.
There is no one more limber or more herbaceous than that fellow. Hornmy Starstream asks, which Olympian and or Titan would you style an Autobot or Decepticon after? I need to look up, like, who was what in the 13 original Primes. Let's see.
I mean, my answer is always Athena, because I love Athena.
You can make a lot of fucking...
And she actually lends herself to Transformers very well.
Yes. All right. I'm trying to see here. I wish there was just a list of, like, what did they do? What are their, like, fucking god sonas? I mean, presumably... Oh, yeah. Obviously, Prima is Zeus.
Right.
I bet Vector Prime... Who is Vector Prime? Vector Prime...
But Hephaestus, right?
That would make sense. Where is he? Where's the... I don't know. Oh, he was also fucking Doctor Who. Fucking ask Vector Prime. There's a lot of funny business that goes on in there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's either him or Solus who's Hephaestus.
Oh, it might be Solus who's Hephaestus.
Alpha-Trion.
No, it must be Solus who's Hephaestus because he has the Forge.
So Alpha-Trion is weird because Alpha-Trion, minor spoilers, he's still around in Prime. So I don't think he ever...
He never died. He never died. He just turned into a ball and rolled away.
Yeah, I want to see if Solus. Solus is either Athena or Hephaestus.
He's got to be Hephaestus. He has the Forge.
Yeah, well, actually, if you'll remember correctly, Solus Prime, she's a lady.
Sorry, yeah.
And she is indeed Hephaestus.
Yeah. Whatever. There's a bunch of them.
Let me see the Fallen. I bet I know who he is.
Thinking he's Hades?
Show me Hades. I can't tell. Probably Hades. Anyway, yeah, olive oil presses. Oh, wait, no, this was, guys you would model after Greek gods or Titans. I don't think there are enough Transformers who have scythes. So I'm going to say Cronus.
Okay. And I think of, like, the main Olympians, the one that gets overlooked the most is Hestia. So yes. I would love to see someone modeled after Hestia. Which I guess, like, the Flame Keepers kind of are.
They aren't really like Hestia is more like the hearth and the homestead sort of thing. The Flame Keepers are just fire themed.
Yeah.
And finally here, in case the Cosmotector asks, did both of these and both of us ever fight together?
These nuts.
They were paired warriors from different worlds.
They are actually the names of a pair of truck nuts.
They're the first combiners.
Yeah, and they combine into truck nuts.
Well, we've been Prime Cuts. So
on that
note, we've been Prime Cuts. Truck nuts, Bumblebee taking wet dumps. We got it all. Here at Prime Cuts, you can find
Prime Nuts.
Prime Cuts Pod. Twitter at Prime Cuts Pod, not Prime Nuts Pod. I don't know where that one's going to take you. You should stay away from that. Yeah, I already mentioned, join our Discord in the link in our bio and we'll do fun stuff. Try to get a Jackbox night going again. We will be streaming the first Bay movie after we're done with this season here. If you want to see Bumblebee do more bodily fluids, that's in there. I personally
really great advertisements here.
It's great. You want to see Bumblebee piss on John Turturro? That's coming up in a few weeks, a couple months. Start the countdown.
I'd rather not, but thank you.
Me personally, you can find me on Twitter at Dragon Smoocher. You can find various other projects I do in various other places, such as Radio Free Heidelin, the comprehensive companion podcast to Final Fantasy XIV Online, back after a brief hiatus. You can find that at Heidelin Radio on Twitter. I'm also on Disney Minus, digging through the muck of Disney Plus. Fittingly enough, next movie, Hercules. Speaking of ancient Greece, that's at Disney Minus Pod, and you can also find my past podcasts over at Podcast of Power. That's the She-Ra podcast. It's a fun time, good show, good podcast.
Cool. I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at Optimum on Prime, which is my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to the other podcast I do called Pot of Greed, which is about Yu-Gi-Oh! And we are finishing season 3 of GX like next month, and then we're going to go on hiatus for August. But we'll get there when we get there. And yeah, it was great. We just had a tournament to celebrate Yugi Muto's birthday. Discord friend Slipstream Sam was in the finals of that, and did a great job. Finals or semifinals? Maybe only semi. It was the semifinals, but still did a great job in that tournament. It was a really fun time. Definitely like the best tournament we put on so far. So our VODs are up now, and you should take a look at that if you have any interest in that. You can listen to that and this podcast on Noisepace, which you can find at noisepace.xyz. You can also find a lot of other really, really cool stuff there. Something for everyone. If you like robots, Wellco Robot is probably up your alley. There's Kamurocho Radio. There's Sonic Shuffle. Lots of stuff there. So give it a listen. And I think that's basically it. So until next time, I'm going to turn the homoerotic subtext between me and my assistant into text. Transform and roll out.
I'm going to open all of my oil release valves and just take a big old dump on the road to
I really wish you
disrupt
wouldn't.
my enemies and just generally disturb my allies and transform and roll out.
Peach.
Peach.